Hi, it's Steve. It's Steve Shikatans. It's June 6th, 2020. Today, I'm going to talk. The title of this talk is 10 to 1,000 push ups a day. And so I want to talk to you about how I did this. It's not to impress you about what I do, it's more to inspire you that if I can do it, you could do it. So this whole talk is about I guess the way I can describe it is what are you doing, what do you do when you hear, like, let's say for example you hear a really great speech and maybe you could hear it on YouTube. How do you just listen to it once, kind of get inspired a little bit, and then what do you do with it? I want to talk to you about something that came to my mind today. I was listening to a speech and I found myself listening to it over and over. I actually, it was about 16 minutes long. I listened to it probably 10 times over and over and over again because the ideas, I wanted to let them sink in. And, one of the things when I first started in business, I had a business trainer, and he said he had this concept of notching the belt to build business. Notching the belt means that they did a survey and they found that it takes about 7 times for somebody to hear something before they'll take action on it. So, for example, well, in my case, it'd be chimney cleaning. So somebody has to hear about needing the chimney cleaned 7 times before they take action, and they'll if they hear from you. For example, they might hear an ad on the radio. That's 1 notch. They might see a TV ad. That's 2 notches. They might see a van with the name on it, our name on it, with about chimney cleaning. That's 3 notches, and so on. So once they hit 7, they'll take action. So anyway, in the same way, our minds are kind of like that. In order for us to get great things out of our lives. So back to the push-ups. It's like, well, what does this have to do with push-ups? Well, um, it all starts with doing them consistently every day. So I want to talk about what I call a beautiful obsession. So let that that came to my mind as I was listening. I was listening to this stuff, and I'm thinking, I'm obsessed with this, and I'm obsessed with these push-ups, and but a lot of times we think of obsessions and we think of being obsessed with someone. It's like, oh, I'm obsessed with that person, and all you do is think about them, and you do all these things, and you hear about movie stars that happening to them, where some fan is obsessed with that person, and gosh, they show up at their house and they figure out where they're going, and they're always there, and they're gawking over them, and that would probably not be a good obsession. But I'm going to talk to you about beautiful obsession, taking something that's good and doing it over and over and over and over again, and being obsessed with that. And so back to the push-ups. So 2 years ago, I could only do 10 push-ups, and I feel like I'm in pretty good shape. I can lift heavy things, and I was running. I could run. I was running 2-3 miles a day. You know, 4 or 5 days a week. I was doing some crunches, but my push-ups I could only do maybe 20. If I tried. And so today, so here it is 2 years later, and today I'm doing 1,000 push-ups every day. And actually, I probably do a few more than 1,000 because of this I want to call it this beautiful obsession. So and actually, I was going to name the this talk 10 to 1,000 push-ups a day, but I think I'll change it to beautiful obsession, because I so I want to take just a few steps to do this. So first thing is creating the desire um, to do push-ups every day. So setting a goal. Now you might think there's no way I can do 1,000 push-ups a day, and I probably would have agreed with you a couple of years ago. I would have said there's no way I could do 1,000 push-ups in a day. There just is no way, and do it every day. I might be able to build up and do it once in one day, but to do it every day. So first thing is have that desire to do it. Now, why you're probably asking, why on earth would you do this? But you know, push-ups are one of those things. It's easy to make excuses. Well, the weather's bad, my car didn't start, all this stuff, reasons why we don't go to the gym or work out or do the things we know we're supposed to do. We come up with all these excuses, but when you're doing push-ups at home, there's really no excuse not to do it, except for the only excuse you could come up with was, I was tired and I slept in, or I didn't wake up in time. And so um, I guess I became obsessed. I had a beautiful obsession about this. I became obsessed with, you know what? I knew that as you get older, it's even more important to do this because I don't want to be. I want to be able to go out and we have a mountain in our town. I'm in Casper, Wyoming, by the way. We have a mountain that's up about 7,500 feet above sea level, and so it's about 2,500 feet higher than where our town is. We're at about a mile high, and I want to be able to climb that mountain. I mean, and I have full confidence that today I could go and hike that mountain. We have some gorgeous trails, and I don't want to be stuck, watching someone else do that. I want to be able to do that myself. And in order to do that, you've got to do some things that you got to do some stuff on a daily basis that can enable you to do that. And for me, 1,000 push-ups seemed like a good goal. And the other reason is that I had hurt my back, and it was hurt bad enough. I probably, if I'd have gone to a surgeon, they would have wanted to do surgery on it. But it didn't stop me. But every time I tried to lift something, I was getting these sharp pains through my back. Now, I'm not advocating not going to a doctor if you feel that if you're injured. I'm just saying in my case, I believe I did have some form of injury, and for some reason, so I got an idea in my head that if I did 1,000 push-ups a day, maybe that would take care of it. I tried massage, I tried everything. My opinion is that surgery should be the at all possible the last option. And I'm totally believing surgery saved my life. I had some surgeries that completely saved my life. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for the surgeons. Thank you, surgeons. I love you guys. But at the same time, sometimes I think surgeries are done where it's unnecessary, and that it could be done with the change of your mindset and then getting into action. So I got inspired, and the best time to make a decision is when the idea is hot, and 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 it's just time. Get yourself into action. And so I went ahead and wrote it down. So I want you to say, write it down, make it a goal, and maybe it's 100 push-ups. I didn't start. I wrote the goal as 1,000, and I almost looked at it and said, this is just impossible. I can barely do 20, or whatever. And so what I did is I still wrote it down, but then initially I wrote, I just want to get to 100. And it's amazing, within a week I could do 100 push-ups. Now, again, maybe I didn't do them all at once. I do maybe I think I did sets of 20. So I do 20, I'd rest a little, and then I do 20, rest a little, and do 20. And the idea here is don't rest too long. Don't, kids know about this. They won't, they rest a little, and then they get back to what they're doing, the games or whatever they're doing. So don't rest too long. I mean, our life is not about rest. Our life is about action. I want to do things. I don't want to sit in a rocking chair the rest of my life. I want to be able to climb those mountains. I want to get in the race car and race, and I want to be able to, participate in a long walk for a demonstration if I'd like to. I want to be able to do those things. And in order to do that, it is going to take some discipline. And so first thing is write it down, and use your mind and visualize what you want to do. So maybe it's 100. I recommend setting your goals high, and then break it down into small manageable goals that you can do, and then increase them just a little bit. And again, always be in the habit of do a little bit more than what your goal is, or I'm in the habit of that, so I always do just a little bit more. So it seems like everyone has excuses. You'll have an excuse to not do things. So I'll have an excuse. You know, it's like I said, it's too cold, it's too hot, it's too rainy. You know, I mean, the sun came up. I mean, it's give me, you know, it's that's sort of those are the things. You know, don't let excuses um, ruin your day. So every day, you know, there's some things that you'll probably have to work on that you're doing that you don't want to do as much as the stuff that you do want to do. So making excuses all the time will keep you from doing this. Keep it simple, you know. And for me, it just do it every day, 7 days a week, holidays, birthdays, you know, whatever happens. I mean, you know, I rolled my race car the next day. I did my 1,000 push-ups. You know, I didn't. I could have used that for an excuse, and I actually was tempted to. But and then another thing is, don't compromise. Don't always do your best. You know, and some days my best is I can barely do them. Or some, you know, maybe my best is only 500 that day. I found that if you just make your mind up. So I heard somebody say one time the three most powerful forces on planet Earth are a twisting tornado, a raging river, and a made up mind. And I'll tell you, if you totally make your mind up to do something, whatever it is, if it's totally, and think about this in your life, if you go back in time and you think about this, you know it's true that if you totally 100% make your mind up to do something, yeah, you always do it. A made up mind is a powerful force, and if you make your mind up to do it, you can do it. So whatever it is, if you want to do 100, set that goal for 100, but do it every day. There's something about doing something every single day that creates amazing results. And it's kind of like investing. You know, when you invest a little bit into your future in a retirement program or some form like us, we do a 401k, and you don't you once you get those investments and you do it every paycheck, every single paycheck, it gets invested. Do it automatically. Have your boss take it out of your check. You know, and have it and put in, or you know, if you need to use the discipline, every time you get that check, take 10% of that and invest it, and do it every day, every time. And so, but again, I want to talk about every day and doing these push-ups. I mean, this all works. This works in all areas of your life. The way you do one thing is how I believe the way you do one thing is how you do everything. So, take the time to be honest with yourself and say, do I let up sometimes? Do I not give it my all? Do I not give it my best? Do I compromise? And it's always the little tiny things. You know, it's like, well, I'm going to set a goal to do 50 push-ups a day, and then you do it for 3 days, and then you don't do it one day, and you think, oh, that's okay. You know, but you already set the goal to do it every day, and you already, 3 days go by and you stop. If that's you, don't give up. Don't let yourself do that. Don't let yourself off the hook and say, oh, it's okay. Don't do that. Just it does take a little bit. Sometimes you've just gotta talk to yourself and give yourself a pep talk. Have a checkup from the neck up is what I've heard. You know, just really say, all right, tell yourself, I'm going to do it. There's a lady on YouTube that came up with this concept. She was having all kinds of life problems. Her life was a mess. Everything was going wrong. She was not disciplined. Nothing was working in her life. And one night she was drinking, and she was it was late at night. She flipped on the TV, just kind of relaxing, and she sees that there's a rocket that's getting ready to blast off into space. And she was watching it, and they were doing the countdown, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and that thing just blasted off and took off. And for some bizarre reason, that gave her she got this idea. She was a little tipsy with drinking, but she got this idea that that she her big problem was she couldn't get up in the morning. Her alarm would go off and she'd turn it off, and then she'd sleep another, and then the alarm, she'd have the secondary alarm. It would go off and she'd hit it, and it'd go off and she'd hit it. And a lot of times she was always running late. She was always having problems. I mean, and so the next morning, for some reason, the alarm went off, and she said 3, 2, 1, and just jumped up, and just like that rocket. And she ended up she's made a big talk about this. You can find her on on YouTube. I don't know her name, but I listened to that and I was like, that is so simple that you just some you just did five if you have the habit of not getting up right away when you wake up, just think of that. Just go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and just get up and get moving. Sometimes it just you just I think the mind can, in my case, my mind will tell me when to get up. I don't need an alarm. I can get up whatever time. If I need to get up at 3:37 tomorrow morning, right on the dot, I'll get up at 3:37 or sometimes even 3:36. But if I want to get up right at 3:37, I'll get up right at 3:37. I plant that in my mind right before I go to sleep. I just kind of casually say, all right, get up at 3:37, and I'll get up right at 3:37 every time. The mind, I believe our mind has a built-in. That's a mystery to me. It's like a built-in clock somehow. It just knows. I don't know how to explain it, but it does work. So anyway, but I'm going to go back to the 1,000 push-ups. So if if you just set a goal, set your goal high. If 100 is a lot for you, set it for 100, and then start with 5. If you could do 5, do 5. The key is do it every single day. Do it every day. Man, if you do this every single day, I'm telling you, your life will change, and you'll feel like today, I have this humongous sense of accomplishment. Disappointments happen in life. I rolled my car over last week. I spent all week fixing it, and I had it all fixed, ready to go. Went out on the track last night. It was running great, and then all of a sudden it started sputtering. Something came off, all the oil came out, and the engine got ruined. So yeah, it was a little bit upsetting. But and I was all planning on I was going to race last night. Then I'd raced Saturday night, Sunday. We got 3 days of racing. That didn't happen. But you know what? It's okay. I'm not going to let a setback or a disappointment change everything, change my attitude and how happy I am. I'm not going to let that affect my day or my future. I might for a little bit, but I'll change it. But anyway, so I just want to say that some people will do this. So anyway, back to the goal. So set the goal, and then do it every single day. Don't neglect it. Make it important. And you can say, well, I don't have the time to do that. But this 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get up an hour earlier. Get up an hour earlier. Wake up. If you normally wake up at 7, wake up at 6. And you'll say, oh, man, I couldn't do that. I'd be tired all day. Don't tell yourself that. We don't need that much rest. Watch a kid. A kid will rest for just a second and get right back to what they're doing. Dude, be like a child that way. Become obsessed. The little things, it's not that hard to do. It's not even that hard to do 1,000 push-ups. You might think, oh, there's no way. That's got to be impossible. But when you build up to it, you just do a little bit more. When you have the goal set, you sort of do have to push yourself. And for me, it was a little harder because I had all this back pain. But back to that back pain and everything. I know I'm jumping around here a little bit, but anyway, back to the back pain. That back pain's totally gone today. I used to do this. I'll put my arms in the air, and I could feel all this pain shooting through the back of my back, right behind my neck here. And I think doing these push-ups is totally fixed it. So it's just awesome. And the other thing it's helped me with is by doing this, I feel this huge sense of accomplishment. Like, if I could do this, I could do just about anything. I am 54 years old doing 1,000 push-ups a day. Now, I am resting between the push-ups. I found that for me, I can do about 150. I can sit out, and I built up to this, but I can do 150 in one shot. So I'll get down and I'll do 150 push-ups. Then I get on my back and I do crunches. And I'll usually do sets of 200. Crunches are not hard to do, and it helps build your core. And you can do those every single day. I don't know that I would have believed you could do push-ups every single day, but yeah, I think we can do. I think you can do push-ups every single day, and you can do this. So anyway, I hope this is an encouragement. If you just start with a goal, do it every day. And this can work in just, not just push-ups. This would work in anything. You know, if you haven't read since you were in high school and you're in your 30s or 40s, you know, you haven't read a book since you were in high school, make it a goal to read every day. It just is it'll require getting up a little bit earlier. Do the 5 4 3 2 1 concept, get yourself up, make it a goal, write it down. I'm going to get up an hour earlier than I normally get up so that I can invest that hour in myself. I can exercise. I actually get up probably 2 hours earlier because I like to do some reading, and it takes me now to do the 1,000 push-ups and the probably 1,800 crunches and sit-ups. It takes about an hour, and so I don't rest a lot. I really, my rest, I feel like my crunches are my rest between my push-ups, but they're really starting to get a little better. I've been doing these 1,000 now for about 3 months. So you can do it, and become obsessed with it. Let that become an obsession, and do it daily. If you find something good that you hear, listen to it over and over and over again, and make notes. Make notes. Write it down. Write down what I, like I said, I probably listened to this 15-minute. I listened to it all through my workout, and I listened to it, you know, before I, as I woke up this morning, and I listened to this 15-minute talk about 10 times. So I listened to 150 minutes of positivity first thing this morning. So uh, get into action, and don't let the idea get cold. So anyway, I hope this is an encouragement to you today. Don't give up. You can do it. Love you. We'll see you the next time.